there we go, of the Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise. Yes, sir, clap it up, get excited. Wherever you are, we are back with another action-packed episode to start the week of this Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Let me tell you something. We got an action-packed show for you today covering the world of boxing and beyond. Yes, we got the playoffs going on. A bunch of series that now started, or rather the whole playoff series has started right now. So we're going to break down some of the ifs, ands, or buts that we can see, like with Damon Lillard also coming back with Milwaukee and a bunch of other routes that we saw in some close games. But also we got a bunch of boxing to discuss. More importantly, like with Eubank versus Conor, Benn, it is here. It's finally happening. Apparently, we're going to finally get the fight we've been waiting on for who knows how long in a grudge match of the generation. I'm going to give you my predictions on it. I'll go back and forth with you debating on what exactly is going to take place. Also, we got to talk about another mega card has taken place in terms of, or rather it has been put into place when it comes to the world of boxing, with Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson now concretely in a fight deal to where they'll be fighting in, I believe, June or July, on a card with Edgar Berlanga, with Hamzat Chavez, with a bunch of other fighters on the table. It's a whole bunch to discuss. It's a whole bunch to go through. We're going to break it down all with you right here on the show and much more. And at the end of the show, we'll be able to have the opportunity to have the championship rounds. Yes, indeed. Where anything and everything you want to discuss in the sports world, question, comments, debates, so much more. We can have it right here on the show. We appreciate your time already. But again, if you're new here, this is the Welch Report. I'm your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday covering the world of boxing and beyond in the world of sports. And hey, we're happy to be here with you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share the show with everybody that you know, leave a like on the stream, and please, comment your thoughts and opinions. Do whatever you gotta do to let your voice be heard right here in the chat. And if you got a chat, we'll bring it up for you to be able to talk through, to listen, to respond, to have a conversation, all this stuff, because this is a community. We're trying to make the hottest community, or rather the biggest community in all the globe. We can't do this without your help. And this is the hottest show in all the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a podcast, is it not? So we have to cover podcasting. Hey, we got an opportunity to be able to go and discuss the world of whatever you have to say right here, and you can hear it and re-listen to it over the airwaves right here on not just YouTube, but on every podcasting platform imaginable. All thanks to you and your support. You make this show possible, so we appreciate you so much. But again, without further ado, we got a bunch of stuff to cover. We have a long laundry list of content, laundry list of work, a very shoot, I can't lie. It's a lot that we got to go through. It's a lot. And so because of that, hey, we're here for it. We're here to break it down. So since it's time to start the show, it's time to do what we do best, which is jump into the ring, step into the ring, and since we talk about boxing, that's exactly what we're going to do. Hey, let's get it started. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's time to work. It's time to jump into the ring with the first segment of this show going underway. First round of the show now starting, as we have to just talk about first and foremost, Shakur versus Zepeda is officially on. Can you believe it? Is it possible? Could we have ever imagined an opportunity where we would have a legitimate situation where we would be able to finally see the fruits of consistent grudge matches work in our favor, of trying to get the fights that we've been waiting on oh so long? And it's finally here. Conor Benn, but not Conor Benn, I'm thinking ahead. Shakur versus Zepeda is finally on after a bunch of talk of, hey, would that ever happen? With the issues that Shakur has had with Turki Al-Sheikh and others, would it be that we actually get this fight taking place in the first place? Would we even see Lexus Shakur ever work with Turki Al-Sheikh at any point in time on any given type of day? Because we've heard the rhetoric online, not bending the knee, not trying to go and kiss the brass ring per se, when it comes to fighters capitulating to what Turki wants to do. And for the most part, we've been here on this show saying that Turki's been doing for the better part of his, 2 years in the sport, been doing a pretty decent job objectively. Now, what do we find out? Shakur in the whole situation, in the whole issue of seemingly having the problem of Turkey Al Sheikh lying to him about his fight price, about how much money he would make for this Zepeda fight. Now all of a sudden walks it back, says it was a misunderstanding, says he apologized, just like we had talked about on the last episode, and now we get to see this fight actually take place. And lo and behold, I told you all this was going to happen. I said it was going to happen. I said, mark my words. Last week, mark my words, because of what Shakur said, walking back the statement, saying that, hey, I'm sorry, big misunderstanding. I didn't truly understand what was going on. Can't wait to work with you. Next thing you know, I said, wait. I think I said in a month or less, or in the next couple months, we're probably going to see that fight get made, fully announced, and then we're going to have a whole breakdown of how that fight would actually go. But I guarantee you what happened. And lo and behold, we're here. It happened. It happened literally in less than a week. It happened. And now we get to have Shakur versus Zepeda, and it's now no longer a pipe dream. And this is where we have a real conversation about the fight itself, because now this fight is going to be a very concerning affair. I think we touched on it earlier when it was in prospects of it happening. But now there is some real concern we need to have for this fight as a whole, because this isn't going to be the cakewalk that many people may believe this fight will actually be on the side of Shakur Stevenson. We're going to touch on exactly why in a little bit. Yo, what's the good with the Franklin Zona? How you doing? Appreciate you tuning into the show. My gosh, I'm so sorry for nearly forgetting about you and leaving you in the chat. Oh no, I'm never going to be in a situation where I just leave you outright alone. No sir, you are one of the value members of this channel, as is everybody. We appreciate all of you coming out, hey, doing what you do best, making this show your own, no question about it. And again, one of the things that we've talked about on the show was the proposition of a Shakur face-off against William Zepeda, how that fight would go, what would actually transpire, who would get the win, or would it be, in many people's eyes, a cakewalk for the likes of Shakur Stevenson? And what we think would be a challenge won't actually be a challenge for one of the best technical boxers in the world of the combat sports game. From distance management to his jab, to his defense, to his, again, pinpoint accurate offensive ability. Ooh, stuff may seem oh so one-sided, but I don't think that's the case, because here's what you have to understand. Shakur versus Zepeda is a perfect matchup for Zepeda. And now that sounds shocking, I know. My gosh, how can you say that? Understanding the track record, understanding the history, understanding everything that we know Shakur is as a fighter, multiple division champion, one of the best technical boxers in the world, is one of the biggest threats to the likes of Shakur Stevenson in the immediate at 135. What do you mean this is a tailor-made bout for the likes of Zepeda? Well, it's because of Zepeda's fight style and Shakur's history, specifically injury history. And this is where stuff gets more nuanced. We understand, or at least I understand, that if Shakur Stevenson fought against the likes of Zepeda and he was fully healthy, this would most likely be a 12-round unanimous decision. I don't think he's knocking him out. Some people say he may stop him. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be that he would get a unanimous decision, a clean sweep on all the cards going up against William Zepeda. But the issue is that is if he is healthy. Emphasis on if. And it's always been a big concern for me when I look at the landscape of who Shakur is as a fighter. This man, with all the talent in the world, similar to Floyd Mayweather, is always hurt. And unlike Floyd Mayweather, has not healed. He hasn't. He hasn't. Even with what we want to talk about with Floyd Mayweather getting injured earlier in his career, having to transition from Money Mayweather, or from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, changing his style along with his personality to become that villain type role and all that stuff. This is where, at this point in time, we can say that when we look back at that career of Floyd Mayweather, he healed his hands. Yes, he could never be a great dominant puncher, but even after the injuries, when he switched up his style It wasn't common that, or at least from my recollection, it wasn't as common that we heard about those injuries nearly as much on the slew of phenomenal careers, however many 20 plus Hall of Famers, becoming a multi-division champion, moving up in weight, being undefeated, all that stuff. With Shakur, already, even with him having to adapt the way that he fights multiple times already in his career thus far, he still runs into the same problems. And we just saw with Josh Padley that the man got hurt when he was dominating the fight as a whole and genuinely going through the ring or going through the work of being an aggressive fighter, being somebody that would be going forward, utilizing all of his offense consistently, not just being defensively responsible, but letting his hands go and allowing himself to actually show his great offensive display. That was what happened. And then now, even with that being the case, the same instance applied. The same situation applied. And it's an outright, it's a problem. That problem makes this so that when it comes to Shakur and Zepeda, even with all that success, it's still going to be an issue that he will potentially, without doing anything wrong, dig his own grave in this fight. He'll dig his own grave in this fight. And it's not because he's going to make mistakes. It's because even when he's doing something right, we're going to see that injury potentially come up again. And that's the biggest reason why we can see this, go through with Zepeda actually getting a victory. Though, again, I know he's not a better fighter in no way, shape, or form. No context is Zepeda a better fighter than like Shakur Stevens. And if, like I said before, if it was 12 and if it was 12 rounds and Shakur was healthy, he sweeps without any issue, without any problem. Outboxing, moves his feet, all that stuff, counters and pot shots, gets him into, again, coming in with that, southpaw, with that left hand, with that lead uppercut, even if he wanted to throw it. Exit back out, throw check hooks. All day long, just schools are better. But because of those injuries, I'm just concerned that I think we may be overlooking that there is some potential self-sabotage that can come into play on the likes of Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur doesn't even have to do anything wrong for that sabotage to come into play. It's just simply by the fact of his injury history that he could break his hand again. Even doing everything right, punching right, technique right, everything is exactly like we know Shakur can be. And he gets hurt, he gets injured. And then now, it becomes a real hard issue facing with Zepeda. Though you know you're a better fighter, when you can't use your weapons like you want to, that's where stuff becomes, it can get rocky. It can get rocky. Also, Jay Riggs, what's good with you? How you doing? I appreciate you tuning in on to the show. We thank you for your time and ever glad that you're here. Salute, mate, but who is Zepeda? Again, Zepeda at this point in time has been one of the lead candidates that people have been wanting to say, let's get Shakur in the ring with. He is respectable. We're not saying he's better than the likes of Shakur Stevens. No, we're not. Mind you, Zepeda just went to war with Tevin Farmer. And Tevin Farmer, I think, had an issue as well. And it was a situation where he just squeaked out a victory. We're not saying that it's going to be that Shakur is going to just get schooled. He's just going to get ran over. No. But we can't deny that with who Zepeda is, fighting style is going to make it so that he is a perfect match to make Shakur be in a real bad position. Not because he's a better fighter, but because Zepeda will make it so that Shakur potentially does self-sabotage by punching Zepeda in the midst of all of that forward pressure, all that aggression, all those punches. Again, Zepeda's throwing, 90? I saw a stat that said he was throwing 94 punches around at one point in time. I could be wrong, but regardless of which, see, I'm one of the highest punch outputs that we've seen in boxing, at least in the division. And so having him face off against Shakur who's got one of the most accurate, but on the lower spectrum of punch outputs in all of boxing, which is still phenomenal. He's going to force Shakur to have to throw more than he wants to. And that's going to be a situation where he's going to cause him to potentially mess up. The amount of offense he's going to have to, because I keep going back to Josh Padley. Shakur was opening up against Padley. Shakur was being offensively minded against Padley. Padley didn't have anything real in terms of that gave Shakur some trouble. And Shakur was like, I'm going for the knockout. Going above what his normal punch output is round by round by round. As we know, Shakur likes to fight. Very judicial, very stringent, very much so, again, discipline. Going even over the limit of what he normally punches in an effort to try to actually wow the crowd and get a KO with no really dangerous offense coming at him. And he could essentially use Padley as a punching bag in that fight, landing wherever he wanted to throw without any qualms or issues. And Padley, mind you, was coming forward. When he was trying to get some offense, was aggressive, was, again, with all due respect, sloppily closing the gap and trying to get any sort of offense on the likes of Shakur. And even still, Shakur hurt his hand. Even in the midst of him dominating, he still hurt his hand. He still messed himself up. Not because he did anything wrong. Just off the fact of over-aggression on the side of Shakur can lead to potentially getting an injury. Just because that's how he is. And now it's like with that forward pressure, that Zepeda, Zepeda. My apologies. My apologies. Zepeda. I'm trying to get these names right. I apologize. But when we look at him, we know that it's going to be that pressure is going to cause Shakur Stevenson to have to throw more than he wants to, because he's going to have to fight off of him. Now, that also comes into play of if we see Zepeda go through and actually cut off the ring or keep him in front of him and not go into the same thing that we saw De Los Santos, where De Los Santos wanted to be aggressive but couldn't cut off the ring and track Shakur the entirety of the fight. We know that's the issue. We know that's a problem. And so, hold on. See, y'all in the chat, y'all are ridiculous. What do you mean? Bumping up on me, making me sweat. Look, y'all, I'm not. Okay. Look, y'all, I'm not trying to mess up on the names. I am doing the best I can. I value my ability to be a very astute linguist when it comes to my use of the vernacular. I don't try to be somebody that is constantly messing up stuff. I apologize. Okay, but don't say all of a sudden I'm the reason that people that you started to mess up. I want to be a bad influence. Oh boy, that's why I always say. That's why I always preference it and say, excuse me if I'm messing up the name, because I understand I showing up ain't perfect. And so oh boy. So again, y'all ain't about to shame me. Y'all ain't about to shame me for doing my best on this show. Okay. I'm working as hard as I can to make sure I get everything right, or as close to perfect, as close to right as possible. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. But let's stay on track here. Even though we understand that William Zepeda, again, if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry, is not on the level of a Shakur Stevenson from a talent perspective. We understand that he can still beat him. And I think people are only looking at the name recognition of Shakur against William Zepeda. that is going to really give a shock potentially on the night of the fight. Because that relentless pressure, I think, is going to be a lot more stringent than people may recognize. Even beyond just the injury potential that we can see take place with Shakur. But just on the whole, the fight itself, I think, again, I still feel that if Shakur is healthy, it'll be a sweep. But even in that sweep, I'm not overlooking that Zepeda can potentially make Shakur really have to work outside of his comfort zone. To where, even, again, just beyond the injury, there can be some potential real obstacles that he's got to overcome when it comes to the style of Zepeda. He's not the biggest puncher, but he's a relentless puncher. He's not the most powerful, but he will attack the body. He's not the most demanding in terms of, oh my gosh, one shot and I'm out. I got to respect everything about him. But he is somebody that will wear you down to where later in the fight, even and he can keep that same, or rather, excuse me, later in the fight, you'll start feeling that fatigue. And he can still keep that same aggression all the time. Because that's him. That is who William is. He is a relentless warrior. He's a swarmer. That's what you have to call him. He's a swarmer. William Zepeda is a swarmer. And because of that swarming style, though it may look sloppy, though it may look not nearly as refined as, again, somebody like a Shakur, it is still effective for a reason. Because it tests the heart and will and the mental fortitude of an opponent to understand he's not going away. Even when I land good shots on him, he ain't going away. What do I got to do to get this guy off of me? That's where this can potentially be a very interesting match. And I can't wait to see it. Let's see. Yo, Sergey, what's good with it? How you doing? I appreciate you tuning into the show. We thank you so much for your time. Absolutely. And thank you so much for everything that, hey, you being here. It's phenomenal enough. What's up to you? And appreciate you joining back in on the show. Let's see. J Riggs, William Zepeda, don't have to change anything. Just fight with his nonstop aggression all 12 rounds, and he can cause an upset. We all know what happens when Shakur been tested. He runs. With you're right, but also you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you what. You're right. Zepeda doesn't have to change a thing. Him just being aggressive and him just being him is enough to potentially cause an upset. It is. But when we say what happens when Shakur has been tested, he runs, I think it's still the disgusting taste of De Los Santos versus Shakur Stevenson. It's still lingering in the minds of a lot of people. It's still fresh in the minds of boxing fans and Shakur haters who just despise how Shakur fights. It really is. At this point in time, that loss or that win, which was a terrible win, is still fresh in the minds of people even years later, or roughly over a year later. And it has caused people to really look at Shakur and say, see, if there's any sort of forward opposition against you, oh, you're in trouble. Oh, you can't do nothing. Oh, you're a sitting duck. Oh yeah, I forgot. He did fight is it Nakatila? Yeah, Nakatila. He did fight. He did fight him. I almost forgot about that fight because that was a couple. That was a while ago. But yeah, no, you're right. You did, and so. But I think more so than the Nakatila fight, the De Los Santos fight is the one that people are pulling from as well. That just pressure alone is going to be the main thing that takes Shakur out. But we have to also understand De Los Santos had pressure and power. And yes, Shakur did break his hand before that fight. We understand that. But regardless of which, It was the power and the pressure that made it so that Shakur didn't want to test anything about him. Made it so he didn't want to do a thing with him. Now, when it comes to the likes of Zepeda, Zepeda is not as strong or nearly as much of a powerful puncher as the likes of De Los Santos. He's not. And also, he's not as technically gifted. Now, that's not disrespect. We're just saying what we see. Because of that, Shakur won't have that same fear of I got to stay away from the power. He's not thinking about the power of Zepeda. That's going to keep him away. Mind you, we can say that this brother runs all we want. The most abject level of running was against a legitimate knockout level puncher in the likes of De Los Santos. Remember, he knocked out Yoshino. He went toe-to-toe with Jamal Herring. He went at and walked down stayed in the pocket and countered Oscar Valdez, who, again, is a hook machine, who's got power in his own right from the standpoint of, at least at that point in time in that division, was a legitimate, respectable puncher and will have relentless pressure. Zepeda doesn't have that same level of power, but he's got that same level of relentless work. Shakur can fight in the midst of relentless work. Power is what really gets that brother. Power is what makes him go into that fight or flight level response. But if it's just straight up aggression, he can deal with that. He can deal, in his mind, he can deal with that all day long. He's not worried about aggression. He's worried about if there's pop behind that aggression. Zepeda does not have pop behind that aggression, at least not to that degree. And so Shakur, I feel that Shakur in this fight is going to see it as, okay, he's going to swarm. I need to keep my distance, but I don't need to do what I did against the likes of De Los Santos. I can afford to not have to run like that. I can afford to sit and counter, be defensive, catch, and then boom, straight right to the body, hook to the head, circle out, reset in the middle of the ring, go back to my jab, be defensive, lull them in, and then boom, another straight to the head. Jab, angle back out, feint, keep my distance, stand, let him walk, then uppercut. Clinch up, swarm the pressure, exit out, get back and reset and do that dance all over again. Awesome. Jay Will, what's good with it? How you doing? Appreciate you coming in and to the show. We appreciate your time. Leave a like on the stream if you're here. Absolutely. We got a whole bunch to talk about right now. Right now we're talking about Zepeda versus the likes of Shakur in a fight that was announced on another big card that's been just announced thus far by I believe it was Ring Magazine and other sources, and I got all the fights. We're going to go through them all relatively quick in a little bit. But how you doing? Appreciate you coming to the show. Shakur needs his, let's see, hold on, let me get this thing. Okay, there we go. Shakur needs his hands healthy, and he'll win unanimous decision. Yeah, he will. Zepeda body work is the key. It is. It definitely is. Absolutely. Zepeda body work is going to be a real issue. And that's going to, like I said, that relentless pressure, and he's not the most powerful, but he will be able to power and get you. He will be able to make it so that you over time, you get that level of, ooh, I'm starting to feel it now. Hold on a minute. Now my body's starting to back up on its own because it's trying to recover on itself. What's going on? That's a legitimate issue. Absolutely. But for me, more than just the pressure of Zepeda, it's going to be, I'm scared that Shakur is going to get lulled into, I can work with this. Does that make sense? And see, I see Zepeda looking like Valdez. Yeah. But in both situations, Jay, well, you're right. In both circumstances, both in the performance and in a loss, I can see him in that type of fight. Like I said, I got him. I said, I'm with you. Jay Will. I'm with you. If it was 12 rounds and Shakur's healthy, I got it a clean sweep. Just like with Oscar Valdez. Like we ironically enough just talked about before you came onto the show. Hey, you think we right in sync. But when we look at, he can look like that as well, getting dominated. But it could be the flip side of the spectrum where the aggression comes into play, but now that pressure is effective. Not just because he's bigger, not just because he's taller. But yeah, see, Rusty Cage Valdez was way smaller than Zepeda. That's the thing. Shakur has fought a version of Zepeda before in Oscar Valdez. But Valdez ain't Zepeda because he's not nearly as big in terms of Valdez. And also, when it comes to the relentless pressure, that even matchup will allow for him to say, oh, okay, I can't just box and then boom, naturally it's easier for me to get out the way because now somebody is able to, with their height, with their reach, as well as with a gas tank just like Valdez, can continually come after me and potentially meet me where I'm trying to escape. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be able to just cut off the ring against Shakur, absolutely. But if he is able to, now, that's where stuff can potentially get sticky. That's where stuff can potentially get difficult. That's where things can potentially turn for the worse. And it'll be because, I almost lost my point, but I think y'all brought it up. Because Zepeda fights similar to Oscar Valdez, and Shakur may feel that he's fought somebody like Zepeda before in Oscar Valdez, it could be a situation of a frog in a boiling pot. Does that make sense? And here's what I mean. When I say a frog in a boiling pot, I'm saying if you put a frog in boiling hot water already, it'll immediately jump out because boom, oh my gosh, I'm scalded. But if you put a frog in some cold water and you slowly heat it up, the frog doesn't feel the temperature up until it's too late because it doesn't notice the change and the effects on the body up until boom, it's about to die. And now with Shakur, because he's been in the same situation before, he may think he's going to go the same way in the fight. And he fights just like he did against Valdez. And then, but by the time, potentially, I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm saying potentially, by the time he realizes that, wait, hold on, the stuff that I'm doing ain't working. Zepeda not just is here, but is actually having some success, and now I'm starting to struggle. This ain't the same as a Valdez that I fought all those years ago. Now I got to change, but it's too little too late. You're already boiling in water. And you can't get out now because, boom, you're potentially dead. You see what I'm saying? That's what we could be with Shakur. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that's what may take place because it's familiar territory for the likes of Shakur Stevenson. Different circumstance, different fighter, yes, but it's too many similarities that he's seemingly, or he in his mind may feel, I've dealt with this before. Now, I can handle this with ease. Because really, you could argue that Zepeda is a sloppier, while he's, again, more relentless from the standpoint of constant punching, he's a sloppier technique fighter than the likes of Valdez. But he can potentially give Shakur and push him way more than Valdez was able to push him. Because of he's not Oscar. He can potentially wear you down in places that Oscar couldn't. He can catch you where Oscar can't. He can make it so that you go through and now you're getting caught with stuff that, oh, against another pressure fighter, I was able to avoid. I was able to get out the way. I was able to do what I needed to do, and I'm safe. Might not be the case anymore. But if he goes in and didn't realize that mid-fight, too late in the fight, now that could be it could be an issue. I'm not saying it's gonna be a problem, but I'm saying it's something to look out for. In my estimation, let me see what you had to say let me see what you had to say real quick before I keep on continuing. Let's see. I see Zepeda looking like Valdez, 9-3 or 10-2 fight. Valdez was way smaller than Zepeda. Yep, covered that. Zepeda more powerful than Valdez. Nah, Valdez lost from round one. He looked like a one-trick pony. He did look like a one-trick pony. He did have, now mind you, there was a point in time when Valdez when Valdez was landing with was it a straight right? It was either a straight right hand or a straight left hand that was starting to knock Shakur's head back later in the fight. And I was angry that he didn't do that more consistently. So he was having some success. But outside of that subtle change that he didn't continue to go away from for his preferred style of throwing hooks left, right, and center. Yeah, he did look like a one-trick pony that Shakur was able to figure out with these. I don't think Zepeda is all that great. You're right. I'm not saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's a respectable fighter. Technically, he's not the best, yes. But his ability to fight is indeed phenomenal. And his stamina is incredible, especially for the pace of the fight he's able to do. He's not oh my gosh, an unbeatable force. Not saying that. But there is enough respect that I have for him to understand that this is not something that we as boxing fans, though we know the fight's going to be action-packed because William Zepeda's in it, and though we know that Shakur is a better fighter than the likes of William Zepeda, it is still something where we can't overlook that the good things that Zepeda does in his fights are things that can potentially be a bad recipe for Shakur Stevenson in this fight. It's not just a puncher's chance from this standpoint. So I don't think he's a great fighter. Nah. But he is a good fighter. And he's got the tools, especially in this fight with Shakur, what we know now, injuries and all, that he can give him some trouble. He can potentially give him some trouble. Shakur's sharp counters will have Zepeda second guessing himself. I don't think so. I don't think it will. Because just like Oscar didn't stop. Even when Shakur had him figured out, he just kept on going. And so I don't think it's going to be just like with Oscar. I think we're going to see William Zepeda, even if we see the sharp counters of Shakur do land, I don't think he's going to stop anything. I think he's just going to keep on trying harder. He's going to up his offense. You can't counter everything. That's going to be the mentality. You can't counter it all. You can't. I'm gonna just keep on throwing. At some point in time, you're gonna miss, or you're gonna misjudge, or you're gonna miss time, and you're gonna punch when you shouldn't punch. And I'm gonna land in, but I don't think he's gonna stop because of the counters of Shakur. I think he'll get even more aggressive. That's the same that goes for how we work in life. Once upper management thinks that we got away with a certain pay amount, and the guys will work for them, they see that, excuse me. That's the same way with how we work in life. Once the upper management thinks they got away with paying a certain amount, and the guy's still working for them, then they see what else they can get away with. It's the Keyshawn, Tank, or even Loma are fighters at 135. I'd rather see Shakur fight, but I'm glad Shakur getting a pretty big fight. I am too. And let me see. That was for the frog and pot. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. And so yeah, so it like this it translates. I again preference it. I am not saying that's what's gonna happen. Be clear. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. But I'm saying when a fighter gets in familiar territory, even if it's with a different opponent, there's already an understood notion in their mind of what I can do. I know how to deal with this before, so I can deal with it again, even if it's a different dude. So that can potentially lead to habits that worked in that fight in the past, not working in this fight now. Normally, that's not what pans out. And on average, what worked in the past does work now. But in this case scenario, that may not be the case. Or there's a heightened level that I'm starting to think that may not be what we see. If there was an aspect to have an upset, it would be because of that reason and because of the hand injury. Those two things. And so that's where stuff, it's a real question. It's a real question. Also, nice haircut. Yeah, you see, got my haircut, got my part going through. I'm trying to look good, trying to look special. We got some events going on in the family coming up in the couple weeks. So we trying to, do what we do best and always try to look good. And plus I was looking dingy up here. Let's be frank. I was looking horrible when it came to my head. I wasn't where I needed to be. I always think I look good. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I think I could put me on the silver screen right now. I'll sell out tickets just by saying hi and then leaving. Put me in a cameo. You'll get $100 million outright. But I digress. I may look that good, but I still got to make sure. I'm keeping myself in check. But no. I had to get situated. I'm glad y'all like it. I'm glad y'all think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna try to keep this. Once these waves come in, give it 6 days. Oh, I'm gonna be drowning. I'm not even gonna do a show. Once the waves come in fully, I'm gonna just have a picture. I'm gonna just look down at my phone, and I'm gonna have a picture. I'm just gonna look at the top of my head, and that's all. That's gonna be the show for an hour and a half. And so. That's what I might do, but let's see. Oh shoot! Look, I appreciate it. Let me not start feeling myself because that's how stuff goes around. You get too comfortable, you get too cute. Next thing you know, all of a sudden you start thinking you can do better than you already are, and everything goes down here. Be humble. Keep myself grounded. Hey, I look good. I think I look good. I'm glad you feel I look good, and I'll keep on trying to look good. And we'll do that. We'll keep it at that. And so you should get the Shakur haircut for the next fight. I don't. You know what? I could. I don't know if I can pull it off. That may not be just my style, but hey, it might be something to do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It might be something that I could do. But let me see. Is there a side bet going around? What round Shakur injury? Or what Shakur injures his hand? If so, you know what? You're funny you say that. I've actually been seeing, ironically enough, some people placing bets on whether or not they're going to see Shakur get his hand broken later or earlier in the fight. It's crazy that this is that big of a threat. It's crazy. It really is crazy. I didn't like but it's not out the question. You have to understand, that's one of the best part, the biggest intrigues for what this fight is about, is the injury. We know the talent. We know the levels. That injury could change everything. Like imagine what we saw against Padley happened again against Zepeda. But Zepeda ain't going down. Now, oh my gosh. The whole complexion of that fight changes. It's going to be interesting. I tell you, it's going to be really interesting to see. Let's see. You think Shakur fight should be the main event? That's actually a good thing I wanted to discuss because it's not going to be the main event, at least from what I know right now. That fight, Rusty, from what I'm seeing, it's not going to be the main event. Because if we go down the rest of the card for what that's going to be, it's going to be genuinely Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda might be the co-main. As of right now, what I'm hearing, or what I'm seeing and reading, is going to be Edgar Berlanga versus Hamzat Chavez as the main event of the night at Chavez's debut at super middleweight. Because for those of you who don't know, William Zepeda versus Shakur isn't the only fight that's on the card. Let's be frank. I almost forgot to go through the rest of the card. The card that's set up right now for July 12th is Sabril Matias versus almost got tongue-tied. Sabril Matias versus Puello. David Morrell in return against Imam, Kavat, excuse me for saying, or Katviv, and excuse me for saying his name wrong. Edgar Berlanga versus Hamzat Chavez, and then Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Oh, no, then, yeah. That's what it's looking like right now. And it looks like that Zepeda versus Shakur is going to be the co-main. And Berlanga versus Hamza is going to be the main. And that's most likely because of the power and the rub of Canelo that Berlanga got from his fight. And the 1-round KO, though it was against, again, not a bum from the standpoint of tomato cans of fighters after that Canelo lost. Boom. Fresh power. A lot of buzz around him. He had a festival. Now, bing, bang, boom. We got a fight. We have a fight. So now we have a fight. And now that we have a fight between a very big, very tall, now super middleweight, versus somebody who's had power, has power, showed up against Canelo, and got a knockout recently. That fight most likely is going to be the main event. From what I read right now, it's looking like that fight's going to be most likely the main event on the night. But let me see. Let me see what other people have to say. I want to make sure I'm not going awry with all this stuff. Let's see. Yes, sir. Shakur Stevenson and Mr. Glass at this point in time, yeah, he breaks. Even when he's doing good, he breaks. In the case, I think Berlanga versus Hamza might actually be for popularity. Yep, you are right about that. And because of main event, you want to see you wanted people to go home happy with the main event, even though if it's not the best fight of the night. And the track record of Shakur, coupled with, again, the name of Shakur, which I think even on this card should be the main headliner. Apparently, it doesn't sell enough. And so it's going to have to be, he's a feature rather than the feature, if that makes sense. And so let's see. Pally did look good in his last fight. Yep, Pally did get a 1-round KO. Hey, kind of helps validate the win that we saw against Shakur. Again, Pally's respectable. I just never felt that he was on that level of Shakur in the slides. But getting I believe it was a first-round knockout to the body, ironically enough, which what he got knocked out with, hey, that's great. And hopefully now him quitting because of the money that he got from that fight with Turkey Al-Sheikh, quitting his job that he did have to become a full-time boxer, hey, we can see this brother actually come back and potentially be better because he's able to fully commit to the sport because financially stable enough, which is great, which is phenomenal. So let's see. We're going to keep track and see how he's able to do. Sorry, I wish no harm on anybody. I hope he's 100% and fights his best. That way, no excuses. No problem, Jay Riggs. We're not wishing injury. You're absolutely right. But we can't overlook that there's a concern. See, there's a difference in wishing somebody gets hurt and saying, hey, it's hard for him to stay healthy. If you want to go to the world of basketball, Kawhi Leonard just put up 39 points on nearly perfect from the field in his game against the Clippers. Shoot, yesterday, in a stupid, phenomenal performance. A great performance. But even still, we have the concerns of injury. Anthony Davis, same thing. Injuries, though he's quelled some of those thoughts with how he's played over the last 2 years. It's still a concern. Though we don't want him to get hurt, we can't deny that is an unavoidable potential reality that we could see take place. Let's see. Shakur Riviera Stevenson deserves his main event. I think he should be the main event. I'm mad that he's not. I can somewhat rationalize why, but I think even with that rationalization, it's not good enough for me. It definitely ain't good enough for me, especially with, again, that fight. Regardless of what you want to say, Shakur, most likely on an average name basis, is the biggest name there. He is. And so I think he should be the main event. I was telling my fellow election workers, Pally did really good and tough and ready. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be a Puerto Rican festival weekend. She'll be popping. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I guarantee you, leading up to that fight, it's going to be a party. It's going to be an outright party. It's going to be an outright party. The title fight should be on the main. Unless it was another title up for grabs, which it's not. In terms of, unless Berlanga versus Chavez was a title fight. I don't think it should be the main event. I really don't think it should be the main event. Puello Richard Matias, curious to see how those classes or how those styles clash. I do too. I think Carlos Adames beat Hamzat. Hamzat lost to Carlos Adames. Yes, he did. Oh, no question. No question about that. I rewatched that fight. It was not a draw in my estimation. It wasn't a draw. And I think he lost. I wholeheartedly believe he lost. I'm upset that he didn't win that fight. Because he earned that fight. Again, looked like Clubber Lang inside the ring. A mix of Clubber Lang and Joe Frazier inside of the ring. That's what Adames looked like. And it was effective against that big, tall behemoth in Chavez. And it's like, and the fact that it's really upsetting because where we see Hamzat now, in terms of getting that push, it should be Adames getting that push. Not because Hamzat isn't good. He is. He's young. I will keep wanting to see him grow. Against Berlanga, this is going to be the biggest test. I want to see how he improves. Yes. But regardless of which, Adames should be getting some real rub to be able to be pushed forward to become a more seen and known about name. Well, not just with his fighting style, but with his production. Hey, I'm telling you, it just it rubs me the wrong way. That's just me personally. But regardless of which, let's see, Puello and Matias, curious to see those styles clash. This is, the fact that fight was made had me excited, but also a little bit concerned. Now it's because I'm very much high on Subriel Matias. I love him. I do love him. I made a video about him. He's still one of the most dangerous fighters in that division. No question. Absolutely. But he can get outboxed. That's the issue. He can get outboxed, which is, again, Matias is not a boxer. Okay, this man is a heavy-handed brawler. Defensively, he ain't great. We said it before. His best defense is his offense. Every win he's gotten has been by KO. He's not looking to go and drag this out to the end of the night. He's looking to beat you up and then knock you out in a demolition level, in a demonstrative type of destructive manner. His hands are still like bricks. He doesn't need a lot of movement to go and do some damage. Again, akin to a George Foreman. Again, rest in peace. One of the greatest punchers of all time. One of the things about George, he didn't need a lot of leverage nor a lot of torque. He could throw arm punches and just rock you and hurt you. Make you start second guessing yourself. It feels like a fully fledged hook or straight from anybody else. But for him, it's just going through the motions. He's got that level of danger. But he can be outboxed. He can. And so against Puello, I'm like, man, I wanted to win. I do want him to win. I do, because I love seeing him fight. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned that boxing ability is going to be something that potentially takes him out. I really am. And it's like, unless he's gotten better, unless he's starting to be, a little more technical, I'm concerned. I don't want him to lose, but I'm concerned. That's the thing. I don't want this brother to lose. I'm concerned. Because if Liam Poirot beat him, and again, Liam Poirot's good, don't get me wrong. Liam Poirot outboxed him fair and square, no question. But it's like, if Liam Poirot can outbox you, Puello, I think, can do the same thing, but also has a little more damage in front of him. In terms from standpoint of, he's more of a heavy-handed hitter. And so if he wants to, he can also stay in the pocket and, hey, it's not just jab, and move. I can put some stuff behind it while still being safe and still beating you on a technical level. That's the concern. So I'm like, I don't know. Have you seen David Morrell, next opponent, fight before? No, I haven't. I think, let me go back and look at who it is. It's, yeah. And actually, hold on. Let me make sure, because I might have. Let me see. I might have seen this. Have I seen him fight before and potentially just did not recognize? Let me look it up real quick. Let me look up his face, because I'm trying to. Okay, yeah. Have I seen this brother fight before? And I have not. I haven't. Now, because of that, I can't give a full-blown breakdown. I will, now that I know what it's about, or now that I know the opponent. And I'll look it up. At this point in time, I think David Morrell, just because I know him, would win. But if this is a big if this brother's body matches what I think his fighting style is going to be, oh, this is going to be a fun fight. I would say that. Look, normally I want to give detailed breakdowns. I don't know anything about the brother right now. But if I can pull up this picture, let me pull it up real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen him, if this man's body is like the way that he fights, then, brother, this is gonna be a fun fight. I'm gonna just say that outright. If this brother fights, if he fights like he looks, oh, it's gonna be war. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun affair. Again, he's 10-0, 9 KOs. Again, I believe he got a good amateur background record. Coming in 30 years old right now. Don't know anything about his style up front. But if his body and his fighting style matches up like I think they're going to match up, this is going to be a fun fight. I can say that concretely. This is going to be a fun fight if we see it. Because he's built. This brother jacked. Shoot. He looks somewhat akin to the likes of Archie Beterbiev. I'm not saying he's that strong. I'm not saying he's on that level. I don't even know what his talent is. I'm just saying if his body matches up with what I hope his fighting style is, oh my gosh, this is going to be incredible. I'm just off of that alone versus Morrell. Yeah, I'm excited for that fight. I'm excited for that fight. I just want to see it just based off of look alone. That's just muscle on muscle. That without knowing the fighting style, he looks like he can give you a good go. If his fighting style matches up with his body, oh my gosh. Oh shoot, based off that alone, that's hype enough for me. I'm excited to see it. Let's see, Sergey, did you talk about Whittaker Cameron boxing weekend generally? I was getting ready to get to that actually. Ben Whittaker beating and knocking out Liam Cameron in 2 rounds. In fact, shoot, let me go on and before we go to the other topics, let me go on and do the other sports news. We're still gonna talk about Conor Benn versus Eubank. We're still gonna talk about Conor Benn versus Eubank real quickly, as he brought up so eloquently. Whittaker versus Cameron, that fight, Whittaker knocked him out. I think what was it? Was it in 2 rounds that he knocked him out? It very much a great display, way better than what the fight was that they first had when they went over the top rope like John Cena and Batista in the Royal Rumble all those years ago. I think it was 2007, not 07. I think it might have been like 09 or maybe 05. One of those Royal Rumbles, and it's like this fight answers some stuff, but it still leaves up with some questions. And it also leaves us with asking the mental state of Ben Whittaker. Because knocking out Cameron in 2 rounds is phenomenal. Not dancing, not showboating, legitimately going through and trying to end the show. Pinpointing all that athleticism and all that ability into no longer just being a showman, but instead putting on a show by putting the business to Liam Cameron. Now, I will say that while he was winning the fight, that stoppage was early. That stoppage was early. It was. That stoppage was way too early for my taste. I saw that way too early. With the ref stepped in way too quickly. Liam Cameron, he was in trouble. Yes, he was. But it wasn't to the point that, you had to come in and stop the fight. It wasn't to that degree at all. No. It wasn't. I don't like that. But what I do like is that Cameron now seemingly has taken the next step. Some people want to say it's because of the bullying that he had gotten online. And he did talk about it in the press conference, affected his mental health. He couldn't even enjoy the win because it was genuinely like reeling from all the backlash from what he is saying on social media. He couldn't even enjoy the win like he wanted to. Was, crying in the press conference, putting his heart on display for the world to see, which, again, I have no problem with. Absolutely, it's great. But it's also a telling of this game is ruthless, not just physically, but mentally. And now Whitaker, with the stardom that he garnered, now he's gotten a taste. Again, it's a taste of what people like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank, Canelo, Benavidez, and all these other big stars that he was propping himself up to be. Yeah, I'm going to take over. This is what they go through. And this is, the boxing realm is unforgiving, both in the ring and outside the ring. Now with Benn, this is what it takes to be a champion. You're going to get to a point where you face a wall of criticism where nothing that you do is good enough. Even this win, that, again, while I think the stoppage was bad, it was a good win from the standpoint of the performance of Whitaker. Was, hey, this is the track that I want to see you on. But even in the midst of that, praise is drowned by criticism because criticism is fun. Criticism, everybody loves to be everybody loves to throw tomatoes. Nobody loves to help build a house. That's what it was like. Or rather, let me rephrase that. Everybody loves to tear down a building, but nobody loves to build a home. It's fun destroying a house. It's not fun building a house. That's what the boxing realm and a lot of sports essentially clamor. That's what it is. It's fun and profitable and easy to destroy and tear people down. It's hard to build people up or to get praise where praise is due. Criticism is to help you build better. Again, chipping away at parts of the house to make it so that you can reinforce it and become better. But completely tearing it down, that's what Ben Whitaker faced because of his last fight against Cameron. Now he won the fight, but now he's got to win the fight up here. He won the fight in the ring, but now he's got to win it up here and be consistent with understanding that you can't let that get to you. Because you're going to be critiqued, you're going to be praised, but at all points in time, you're never going to do everything right in the eyes of everybody. So because of that, you got to get to a point where you can be guarded within yourself. Because if not, this will get to you. Now again, when I say this, I'm not trying to point you all out. But all of you in the chat, all of you all listening here, everybody that's in the boxing realm as a whole, they will get to you if you're not careful. Because at some point in time, good noise, bad noise, praise, ridicule, critiquing, helpful advice, hurtful advice, everything just becomes a muddied mess at some point. If you're not prepared for all of the voices focused on you at one time. And that's what I think he can grow from this. Already fighting style wise, it looks like he has evolved and adapted. No longer looking to dance, no longer looking to showboat, now trying to, hey, we gotta get business done. I'm not saying you shouldn't showboat. I'm not saying I'm against you doing all the flashy stuff, because we've seen other boxers do it, and we love it. Boots Ennis, Prince Nassim, Joe Calzaghe, would do it in the ring. Ali did it all the time. I mean, we love it. Absolutely. We also understand if you ain't like that, it's going to catch up to you. And if you do fail, this is what can happen. Even your wins become a bad taste in your mouth. Your losses are almost, I can't do this anymore. That's what they can get you to. And so with Ben, I think he'll grow from this. I think he'll learn. I think if he does take the step that I think he can take, he'll be better off from this firestorm. And now with this win, I think now he's going to turn to the fighter that we all think he can be. I think. Nothing set in stone. But I think that's what's going to happen. And so we'll have to wait and see. But I promise you, this is a crossroads with Ben Whitaker. Either he'll get better, not just as a talent, but mentally. Or this will potentially derail his career. Because it's going to be a situation where, brother, in no situation can I win. And so do I even want to do this? That can be a possibility. And so hopefully that doesn't happen. And hopefully we see Ben rise through the ranks and become one of the biggest stars that we can see. Because him against a lot of other fighters would be fun to see. Absolutely. But only time will tell. But it was a good win regardless of which. Bad stoppage and all. Good win, good stoppage. Good win, good performance individually. Can't wait to see what he does as we continue to go forward. But now, as we got to go through the rest of the card, we have. Where's that? There we go. Now we got to go into the fight that's happening this weekend. Hey, oh, it's here. Excuse me, that's the wrong time. I might as well do it anyway. It's here. It's time. Now it's for the big kahuna, the big fight of the weekend. A generational war between two of some of the most storied families in boxing. Now going at it one more time. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. In a fight that we've been waiting who knows how long for. In a fight that's had literally blood ties and blood grudges consistently for the past, ever since Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. stepped in the ring in the first place. A continuing of the legacy. And now that we're here, who is going to win this fight? That's where this really comes into play. And for my money, honestly, I almost want to say this is a 50-50 toss-up. And it's not because I'm trying to be just, on the fence. I'm not just trying to be somebody who is just trying to go through and just pick no sides so that I can say, hey, I'm right in every aspect. No. I don't know who's going to win in all seriousness because I don't know exactly not just what fighter we're going to get, but what each fighter brings to the table, even at their best. Because we've seen so many highs and lows from both opponents. Again, right now, Conor Benn, 23-0, 14 KOs. He's undefeated, yes, but ever since he got popped for PEDs, he has never, and I mean never, looked the same at all, in the slightest. Nothing about the way that he fights from the standpoint of the pressure's still there. But the power that made that pressure so much more demonstrative, that ain't there either. And it's a big concern because now going up against Chris Eubank Jr., who against 34-3, who has been on the losing end of the spectrum, has gone through multiple trainers and coaches, has had falling outs with his father and coming back and reconciling, has tried to fight like Roy Jones Jr., has been knocked and failed, has lost to Smith, got knocked out by Smith before avenging that loss and getting knocked out of his own. We've seen the best and we've seen the worst of Conor Benn, of Eubanks. And now even with a new trainer, after going from Roy Jones to Bo Mack to now a new dude, who again is supposed to be another guru, but it's still, there's so much that we don't know. There's so much that we don't know. And because there's so much that we don't know, it's hard to say who's going to win because I don't know who we're going to get. Genuinely, I don't know who we're going to get. And because I don't know who we're going to get, I don't know it's hard for me to give like a concrete type of prediction. Now, I will say, if we're looking at what we saw from Eubank versus in his last fight and with Liam Smith, though again stylistically he could even be different from those two fights up until the fight that we see now. If it's that type of Eubank against Conor Benn, then I would pick Eubank. Now, the reason being, though I know that Conor Benn, while he lacks the power, is still incredibly explosive, is incredibly fast with his hands, has great hands, elite hand speed. Let's be real. He's got elite hand speed. He's a phenomenal combination puncher. He has the ability to go through and wreak havoc once he gets on the inside with the range that he finds or that he is, again, at his best with. He will open up. Yes, he will. He will be the aggressor and will force you to face all of that speed coming your way. And because of that speed can potentially make you run into a mistake. Oh, it's possible. Because he's on you so quickly. But the issue is, without that power against somebody like Eubank, that could spell a really bad time. And it can make it so that Eubank just want to stay in the pocket. Though, yes, we know Eubank can box on the outside and all that stuff, use his jab, use his length to really go to work. Because of the power that we see that Eubank have, in this case, I think he's stronger than Conor Benn, especially off of PEDs. I think he's stronger than Conor Benn. And though Conor Benn may have him in speed, Eubank has him with power and countering. And that's where I really think this fight is going to be made or lost. Counter. That's why I think this fight is going to be made or lost. The countering ability of Eubank, if it shows up, it's going to be the thing that makes this fight go in his favor. Because of how Conor Benn comes in when he commits. Though it is fast and it is sound, at times it can be reckless to a fault. And that recklessness coupled with the power that we know Eubank can have and the length, it can make it so that Eubank can make it so that Conor Benn rushes in and overextends on that flurry of combinations. And then from there, he gets caught. Gets caught with an uppercut. Just like he knocked down Liam Smith with. Just like he was using in his last fight. I believe it was his last fight against Kaleem. It can be the same thing that happens to Conor Benn. Genuine. And it can be a real concerning issue that we see the likes of Conor Benn go through and potentially get put out. He gets caught flush and he gets pulled. He gets put out. Especially if we see that Chris Eubank feels the power of the likes of Conor Benn, but all of a sudden feels he can take it. If he feels that, then he'll try to take more chances. Oh yeah. If he feels like that, he'll take opportunities. He will take risk to potentially go and see, hey, okay, yeah, you're quicker than me. You're more aggressive. But I can get you. And I can potentially eat a shot or two to take some risk and catch you and do what I need to do to make this successful. That's what we can see happen. That's what we can see transpire. That's what we can see with Eubank over Conor Benn. Now, if we also see that Eubank is able to overwhelm Conor Benn, because as we know at times, though he's gotten better. Again, the loss to Liam Smith, that stylistic nature of trying to imitate the likes of a Roy Jones Jr. That still does linger in my mind too. Just like with people with Shakur and De Los Santos, like we talked about earlier. That loss lingers in my mind. And we've seen that if you are able to get Eubank in trouble, you can't overwhelm his defense to where now something will inevitably get through. Because because there are holes that Eubank makes himself from when he tries to shell up or tries to catch everything with his guard in some situations. It can be a problem. It can be a major problem. And that problem can exacerbate when it comes to elite level of speed. Because I respect to Liam Smith, he ain't nowhere as close to as fast as likes of Conor Benn. Nowhere close to as fast. Nowhere close to as fast as Conor Benn. Nowhere close to as explosive as Conor Benn. Yet still was able to push him to the corner. Now, we saw what happened in the second fight, but even still, the possibility is still there. That makes for an opening that Conor Benn can utilize and expose and turn into an advantageous situation, even if the power is not where it used to be. The speed can potentially be enough. And the punches can come so fast that, hey, similar to what we saw with Liam Smith when he got him in the corner, though it was a shot that hurt him first, and then it was a thing, then it was an uppercut or a hooker cut that then knocked him down. In this situation, all the overwhelming nature of volley of shots that we can see Conor Benn throw at Chris Eubank Jr. can be the thing that makes it so that there is a punch that Eubanks doesn't see, that then we see actually hurt him. Because we know the old terminology in boxing. It's not the punches that you see most of the time that get you. It's the shots that you don't see coming, or the shots that you ain't prepped for that catch you. Those are the shots that hurt you. Those are the shots that go in, and they are the things that turn a good chin into all of a sudden a shattered piece of glass. Those are the shots that come in and make even the best of granite chins shaky, wobbly, because you ain't prepared. It's unexpected. It catches you at an angle where you had no clue it was coming. So you ain't got no way to gird yourself up to be prepped for attack. Even if you're already prepped for a different type of shot, that's the thing that takes you out. Because it catches you at your weakest point when you're blind to what's coming. That's what we can see, and that would be the best opportunity to see Benn beat Eubanks Jr. But I think that is going to be that he gets caught. I think it's going to be that he gets caught. He gets caught and he gets hurt. In terms of Conor Benn gets caught and hurt by Chris Eubanks Jr. And he then gets put out. Potentially. Or this goes into a split decision and Eubanks takes a slim margin of victory. Because it's going to be the bigger, more damaging shots may be the thing that the judges value more. Because that's what's going to come into play. As much of the explosion that we see Conor Benn have, as much of the speed that we see Conor Benn have, that power isn't there, and the potential lacks in defensive ability. And overt aggression can lead to a bad combination against somebody like a Eubanks Jr., who has the power and has the length to be able to catch you and hurt you more consistently, because he can get out of range and be able to lull you into shots, lead you into damaging punches, that even if he's not as active from a volume standpoint, he can balance that out or even overwhelm it with hurting you, with timing you, with catching you, with making it so that my power, though I'm slower, I can get you. I can get you. Because I'm sorry, of this last couple stints, while Eubanks and Conor Benn have both looked different, Eubanks has looked significantly better in my eyes. Because he still has retained the things that make him him. Conor Benn, I don't see that. Because since he's been off of PEDs, since he got caught for getting popped, or since he got popped for drugs and has come back into the boxing world, while he still has, again, the speed and all that stuff, that last piece of the puzzle that made it so that it all came together is not there, and that's power. And because of that lack of power against somebody like a Eubanks, I really think that we're going to see Eubanks win. I think we're going to see Eubanks win. At least in my estimation, I think we're going to see Eubanks win. Shame Eubanks couldn't keep Bomac. I don't know why. That's the crazy thing. I don't know why he didn't keep Bomac. I don't think Bomac can go to the UK after getting, I forgot about that. Shoot. I forgot, yep. You're right. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. He got caught. over in the UK, I think he got arrested for something, and he couldn't go. The brother can't go back. I don't think he can go back. So I'm like, shoot. Oh my gosh. I completely forgot about it. If that is true, and I think it is, that might explain why he had to switch trainers. It was, okay, it was for a gun. Yep. He had carried a gun. Yep, you're right. You're right. They do have a law over there. Yep. Nailed on the head. That's probably why he couldn't keep Bowman. This fight was in the States. Yeah. This fight ain't over in the States. This fight shouldn't be in the States. It should be over in the UK. Actually, hold on. Is it in the, hold on, wait. Oh, let me fact check and make sure. It is in the state. It is over in the UK. Right. It is over in the UK, correct? Okay, yep, it is. Okay, just making sure. So yeah, no, that's why. That's why. So it is a shame. Because I think Eubanks and Benn working together would be phenomenal. Not Benn. Eubanks and Bowman. That's a match that I would love to see continue to happen. That is a pairing I would love to see continue to take place. That is a pairing that I think would be incredibly advantageous for the likes of Eubanks to keep on improving, evolving, and becoming better as a fighter, in my estimation. But it is what it is. Hence why I still, while I'm picking Eubanks to win, is why I'm concerned. Because I don't know what Eubanks we're going to get. Because with this being the third trainer he's had, I don't know what type of stylistic fighter he's going to be. We saw what he was pre and post Roy Jones Jr. Completely different. A completely different fighter. Now, from that fight up until, from that to Bomac, and then from Bomac to this new guy, it's like, who, again, I'm forgetting the name, but he is incredibly respected. He is. Now I don't know what we're getting, which does make it exciting. But hold on, did you say? Wait a minute. Oh, did you say disqualification? Wait a second. Hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you want disqualification? You're betting on disqualification. You want a disqualification to happen between brother. We want a finality. Well, actually, for the sake of story, and we went through that they both got disqualified, and then boom, at the best case scenario, fight goes to was it 10th round, and it's tied up on the scorecards, and then both people do something that the fight get disqualified. Bing bang boom. There's no real winner, no contest. Everybody disputing who won what. Now running back again. This time in Wembley Stadium. Second time around. More blood, more bad blood, more animosity, more people going back and forth, more fans having more, oh, he should have won. Oh, he would have won. Oh, he's going to beat you this time. No, he's going to beat you next. It's going to be like this is, yeah. I might just be with it. Shoot, make it happen. Make it happen. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see it. But shoot, but again, I think that we're going to see Eubanks beat Conor Benn. I dare say we're going to see Eubanks knock out Conor Benn, because either it's going to be a split decision, knockdown, drag out brawl. I think it's going to be a brawl here, regardless of which. But if anybody was going to get a knockout in this fight, I think it would be Eubanks. I really do think it would be. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a knockout, most likely in, shoot. It might be a knockout in the 11th. With how much bad blood it's going to be. This fight, just by the sake of sheer hatred, it's probably going to go near the distance, if not the distance outright. But if it ended, I would say it would be in the 11th for Conor Benn, or for Eubanks. And then split decision for Eubanks if this fight did go that way. But I'm not surprised if it would be a split decision for Conor Benn and his overwhelming style of offense. And the speed potentially makes it so that he can't catch him. Or rather, he can't outwork him. Either way, it's going to be great. It's a 50-50 fight, like J. Will said. And I can't wait for it all. I'm excited. I'm telling you. It's here. It's finally here. And shoot, we probably gonna keep on talking about this all week long up until the fight. And I'm be looking at more film. I might just change my opinion. I don't know, because this fight is so close. It's so close because there's so many unpredictable variables. All I know is I can't wait for it. Can't come soon enough. I'm excited for it. But now, with that being the case, I think that's everything we got to cover on the show for the time being, from the standpoint of the main news of the day. And so I guess we can go into, hey, we might as well do it. Let's go into the championship round, shall we? Hey, it's time to make the show your own. I got more topics I can discuss in the meantime while you're waiting. But get your comments, get your questions, get your, not concerns. Hopefully you ain't concerned about the show. But whatever debates you want to have, whatever questions you want to have in the realm of sports, let's hear it. Let's see what you got to talk about. Let's see what you want to be about when we talk about whatever you have to say. Make the show your own. Take over the ring. Let's see what you got. We got 15 to 30 minutes. Let's see what you got to say. We can answer questions right here on the show. And if you haven't already, please leave a like on the stream. We would love for it to happen. We would love for you to go on and make this show, hey, a grand affair by going out and doing what you do best, which is consistently Are we back? Hello? Are we back? Okay, my audio cut out for a split second. I don't know what happened. But yeah, make sure you won't. Have your comments, have your questions. While you're getting your questions ready, I'll go through some other topics that we can discuss as we have some time for some downtime. But let's see, somebody already put in the chat right now. Bro, when are you gonna roast that horrendous WrestleMania? Hey now, look, it wasn't the best WrestleMania. I did get to see it. It wasn't the best WrestleMania. But it wasn't a horrendous WrestleMania. It wasn't. Io Sky retained her championship. So excited for that. My gosh. In an incredible match with Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Io in that triple threat retained the title. Phenomenal display. Braun Breaker losing his title to Dominic Mysterio in a great four-way, in a very much, honestly, unexpected but incredibly happy turn of events. The loudest pop in the whole arena, I think, was for Dominic Mysterio, because it was for both nights. It was insane. It was ridiculous. But he's one of the most hated heels. But man, he became one of the biggest, most beloved figures on that day. Shoot, brother. Place was rocking. He went for an encore celebration because they were cheering for him so loudly. It was ridiculous. It was insane. And on top of that, you had, what else you had? You had Randy Orton. Couldn't fight Kevin Owens. Had to go and since you open challenge for anybody. Next thing you know, Joe Hendry from TNA shows and pops up out of nowhere. Are you kidding me? Say his name and the brother appeared. Yes, it was a 3-minute match, but he got some offense in. Again, he didn't look so weak. He was gonna lose because, again, we get it. But it's like, yo, that was so unexpected, but yet so exciting. I loved it. I did. And then shoot. Oh, almost forgot. Both main events for night 1 and night 2. You had WrestleMania night 1, Roman versus Seth versus CM Punk, with CM Punk taking Paul Heyman from Roman Reigns' corner as now his confidant once again and a manager. And then he turns on both of them and goes and betrays both Roman and Punk to go side with Seth. And now he's paired up with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Oh my gosh. Brother, talk about a faction. I want to know where this goes next. Could they join The Rock in that whole litany, The Rock, Travis Scott, and John Cena, and make a new dominant faction in the world of wrestling today? Is The Rock even coming back? Because the buddy didn't show up at WrestleMania, which is insane, which is crazy. Because night 2 main event, Cody versus John Cena. Brother, we got to see John Cena get his 17th world championship. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I was jumping up and down. I was over the moon that he got his 17th title. Broke Ric Flair's record. Broke his record as definitively as you can. And did it just like Flair did, as the dirtiest player in the game, hitting Cody Rhodes with the belt. After Cody Rhodes essentially said, I want to hit you. I want to do it. I got to save wrestling. Yet he just couldn't bring himself to do it because he had to keep to his moral compass. And then John Cena kicked him below the belt once again. Hits him with the belt and goes, and he was right. I don't got to wrestle you. I just got to beat you. And him as a heel, more methodical, more slow-paced, it works. It can be better, but it works. But he is slowly but surely proving the WWE right with everything he's been saying about what is wrong with the fans. They boo him, they cheer him. They cheer him when they want something, then they boo him when he does the very thing that they want him to do. He can read him like a book. It's ridiculous. And now we're going to get Cena versus Orton for the title down the line in one last run of one of the most legendary feuds that we've had in wrestling in the past, 10 years? Like, it's great. That's really all I can say is it's great. Yeah, I get it. The whole of the card wasn't phenomenal. I get it. There were some duds. Like, as you know, you people don't like Gunther tapping out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, which is, oh my goodness, shocking on to everybody. But still it happened. And, and because it happened, people are incredibly upset. But also, it's a 50-50 split. People are mad, but people are excited. People say they hate it, but at the same time, people love it because Jey Uso finally got what people would say he deserved, which was a legitimate, big-time championship around his waist as one of the biggest stars in the company right now. So it's a lot of different feelings. People especially hate the fact that he made him tap out, but think against the lights way back when I think Gunther was still Walter, when he fought against Ilya Dragunov. He tapped out to him too. Quick and in a hurry. And so doing it the same to Jay, it could be that may be the one kryptonite cue the likes of Gunther. The brother can't handle submissions, even though he can beat you by submission or by just straight up power. That we may have just found one of the biggest weaknesses to one of the most well-rounded wrestlers that we have in the WWE today, which adds a new layer to his character, which makes things very interesting. And plus, he attacked the commentators on Raw last week. If you ain't seen it, go look it up. It's phenomenal. But again, all in all, it wasn't a horrible WrestleMania. Wasn't the best. No. It didn't have the same shock and all that we saw with WrestleMania. What was it? 40? Was it 42? 40, I think 41 and 42. But still, I wouldn't say it was bad. Could have been better. Main event could have been better for John and Cody. Probably could have done a little bit more with Jey Uso and Gunther. But on the whole, wasn't a horrible night. And now this new season of wrestling after this, I can't wait to see where it takes place. So I'm excited for it, no question about it. But again, is there anything else anybody wants to say? We can still have so much news in the world of sports. Shoot, don't forget, Nakatani is having one more defense, or rather one more fight at bantamweight in unification versus Nishida for the IBF and WBC bantamweight titles. Yes, unifying the titles now. This is most likely his last fight at bantamweight. Remember, already covered that Inoue called him out. Already covered that Nakatani said, let's make it happen. Already covered that Nakatani has said he has one or two more fights left at bantamweight before he ultimately decides to move up to super bantamweight, to 122. And he already had one of those fights earlier this year, and I believe a less than 5-round KO performance defending his title. Now, once he unifies, after this could be it. Brother, this could be it. After this fight, and within the Inoue fight this year, we could very well see, by the time December comes around, or at least early January, we get Nakatani versus Inoue in one of the most spectacular, all Japan, pound for pound, heavy-handed unification fights potentially for undisputed. If we're going with, if it almost like, no, it would be for anyways times. It would be for undisputed. Like, brother, you can't write this. You can't write this. You can't write this at all. It's gonna be so spectacular. I'm goosebumps waiting. Goosebumps waiting on this fight to happen. Again, the fight just got announced, so it's happening in when is it? I think it's might be in June or July also. Around that time of the other cards, like with the score fight that's coming through. So all this can happen at the same time, and so it's like the hits just keep on coming, and we're excited for it all. And I can't wait to keep on seeing how things unfold from here. And so it's a we're getting closer and closer day by day. So I'm excited for it. But I mean, if anybody else has got anything to say, the floor is yours. But if everybody else is all wrapped up, I think we might just wrap it up early. I'm not gonna lie, because I got some stuff I gotta handle. I was prepared for 15 to 30, but if we are all like, hey, tuck it out from this last weekend, I completely understand. I am too. I might wrap it up now. We'll come back on Thursday to talk about more of the sports world and continue all this conversation. But I think we're gonna wrap it up from here. And if nobody else has anything they need to say or any questions they want to talk about, I think we're gonna wrap it up and call it home, shall we? So with that being said, this has been another episode of I Don't Watch It, but with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show. Please keep on sharing the show with everybody that you can to make the show the hottest show in all the globe. We're available on every podcasting platform imaginable. So listen to us everywhere, on your job, at your house, in your home. At your house, in your home, same situation. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us there. We're on YouTube. You can go back and listen to us right here. Leave a like on the stream before you leave. Again, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Leave a comment on what you liked or didn't like about the show. We're going to be back on Thursday to cover not just with Eubanks and much more, but also more news that's most likely coming out in the next coming days regarding the boxing world, the NBA world, and oh so much more. So we'll be back to cover with you all. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. We are out of here, yes sir. And we will see you all on Thursday.